Hello and welcome to Puppeteer Painting Studio's first tips and tutorials video, basic shading and highlighting. In the welcome video I talked briefly about simple techniques that you can use to get miniatures ready in a very quick space of time, and all it involves is a simple shade and a simple highlight that can be easily replicated to other models. First things first, we're going to start by painting the base. Kick things off with scorched brown. As you can see, I've already glued some flock onto the base before painting to add some texture a bit later on with more colours and to add more depth. So you've got the flat colour of the brown on there, which we will build upon a bit later on. First off, we're going to start the cloaks, a little bit of Dark Angel's green, which is quite a dark tone to start with, but it's a preference of mine when I paint generally to use darker colours, because I think whilst Warhammer is obviously a fantasy based game, I do quite like the element of realism in my painting and try to reflect this as much as possible. So once that's done, I then went about painting the browns with vermin brown, all the leather bits around the legs and the cloth and parts of the bow. After this I painted the flesh, dwarf flesh, and the hair fortress grey. For these colours in particular, it was necessary to have two thin coats, and I can't stress enough that it's better to have two thin layers of paint than one gloopy thick mess, because even though the coverage might not be adequate the first time round, you can always essentially cover up all the nasty bits when you paint it a second time. Now what I'm showing you here is the paint I'm using, as you can tell from the old pots. It's kind of had it a bit, but it's not without its uses, and in fact, even though it's kind of hardened in the base, all you need to do really is add a bit of water, as I'm doing now. And this is the vomit brown I'm going to use for the bows, and it's a bit of a gloop, and it's kind of almost stopped becoming a liquid and started to kind of dry up into a stringy, horrible mess. So, as I say, a little bit of water, and it kind of remedies it almost perfectly, and makes it going from a troublesome pain to actually quite good as new. And I'll be painting with paints that are sort of on the brink of drying out like this, and I've not noticed any detrimental results once it's all dry. So I just thought I'd show that, because you don't really need to throw the paint away, as it works just fine once you've added that bit of water. So after the vomit brown, I've done the patches of leather on his wrists as well. Done those in snakebite leather, and I've done the scab red, as you can see on the palette, scab red on the bits around his stomach, and the flights on the arrow. As you can see now, I'm getting a nice healthy amount of Devlin mud ink on the brush, and I'm going to apply this to the entire miniature. The reason for this is because it provides an instant shade. What you actually want the ink to do is pool in the recesses. Not a huge amount, so that you lose some of the detail or get blotches or lines appear on the model once it's dry, but a nice amount so that, as you can see here, it shades all the recesses of the model in such a short space of time that it really is the quickest, most effective way of completing lots of models very, very quickly. Now, you could stop here but I am going to do a highlight on each part of the model, each raised part of the model. On the browns, I'm going for the same colour that I used for the base coat, just doing a little edge highlighting on the raised areas to really lift the details. Now the Wood Elves in particular, in my opinion, are really nice models, and so deserve this extra bit of attention, even at the sort of trooper level. And all it is a case of going over these raised areas with a lighter colour. Now, as I said, I've used the same colour I painted the brown with in the first place, but the Devlin Mud has darkened it, so that now the original colour is a decent highlight. Now, the camera doesn't pick out the detail particularly well. That is because the colours are quite similar, and I prefer the subtle highlights as opposed to the stark highlights. As you can see around the edges of the bow and the helmet there, and now on the back bit of the cloth, the highlight really brings out the details. I'm going to do the same thing now with a cloak, and I'm mixing up a 1-to-1 mix of Snot Green and Dark Angel's Green. As you can see here, it's only a subtle step up from the base colour, even though it's been darkened by the Devlin Mud now. Again, I want to create a subtle highlight, and the results here are hard to see on the camera, but they are there, and on the front bit as well. I've also done the left hand side of the red, which I have highlighted with blood red, which is significantly brighter than the scab red, but red in general tends to be more difficult to highlight. Although I've said I do prefer the subtle highlights, it might seem odd going for a brighter colour. It's a lot harder, and in fact barely noticeable if you just highlight back up with scab red. Unlike the skin, which you can just go over, as I'm doing here with dwarf flesh on the more raised bits, and it colours it quite nicely. Unfortunately, the glare makes it somewhat hard to achieve, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get the camera to focus. And after that, we dry brush the base, which basically involves getting Bestial Brown on the brush, taking almost all of the paint off, and then rubbing it lightly over the textured bits. It's great for highlighting textured areas very, very quickly. And there we are, one very nearly complete Wood Elf. The only thing left to do is paint the eyes, which I can't really do very well on camera due to the fact that the focus won't really allow you to see anything. All you need to do for the eyes is get the tiniest brush you can, a dab of skull white on each eye, and then a little black dot in the middle once the white has dried, and that's it. As you can see, the base is now flocked with a bit of grass to complement the brown. I don't like to have purely monocoloured bases. I think the grass and the brown breaks it up a little bit, makes it more of a feature even on a modest base such as that. And you can really see the highlights on the back now. They're very simple, and again the scheme is very simple. The whole point of this video is to show you what you can do with simple base colours, a quick ink wash, and then a highlight with those base colours again, just to bring out the detail of the model. So there you have it. If you like what you see, then subscribe. Let's get some dialogue going in the comments. Leave some feedback. Feedback's always welcome. Check out my website. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see. There's lots more content to come. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.